Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2 of the questions tutorial. In part 1 we already had a look at the intro and the verse. In part 2 we'll be tackling the chorus and the bridge. As always, for tablature and notation files as well as early access, please head over to the Patreon page. And if you want to support the channel without monthly fees, there's a PayPal donate link down below. Have fun with the lesson. Now we're launching into the chorus by means of that. And this little lick, as you will see throughout the tutorial, but also when you watch Tommy plays, he plays this different in terms of timing and technique each and every time. I'm going to play through the chorus 1 and then again explain it all to you. To the next verse. Now, as you may have noticed, the chorus looks a lot like the intro. You're starting on that same D chord. First you have that intro lick. Index finger 9th fret on the high E string, hammering on to the 10th fret, then to the 12th fret and back down to an open string. Now, Tommy plays this different each and every time, hanging on the timing, using all pick notes, using all hammer-ons, using hammer-ons going upward, pick notes going down, or using pick notes going up, and just pull-offs going down. It's different each and every time. Play around with this, have no fear of really playing with the timing, hanging on that high E note before resolving the tension and heading into the chorus. You can really stretch this little part as much as you want to. And then to that intro chord again. The only difference is now we will fill up that bar. Instead of just playing the intro and doing nothing else, we are now filling up that bar with an extra bass note and soft strumming with the side of the thumb like you did in the intro. So it's just an extra bass note, a soft strum going up, and another bass note at the end. Same thing on the next chord. Only difference, the very last bass note is an open E string, to give you a bit of extra time to head for the next chord. Those first 2 bars. Open E string, that last bass note. And if you picked another fingering for those first few chords in the intro, now is the time to apply them as well. I often like to play that first chord with the index finger as well. So you can basically, again, construct this as you did with the intro. Open E string, then 7th fret, bar across 6 strings, adding in the middle finger on the G string, and now the pinky is going to get quite a workout again. Again, feel free to spread that chord just a little bit more, and then hammering on with the pinky on the high E string to the 9th fret, sliding up to the 10th fret and straight back down to the 9th fret. To a bar across the 7th fret using the A string, G string, B string and high E string, open E string, and then a little D minor triad, 7th fret, 6th fret, 5th fret on the G, D and B strings, adding in the pinky on the 7th fret and sliding up to the 9th fret. Back to an open bass string, A open bass string. Let's have a look at how that works together really slowly. Back to an A chord. Now that hammer-on and pull-off lick on that B chord, that's tricky. It's something really typical of what Tommy does. It does take time. It does take a guitar that is well set up. If you're going to try and do this with a really high action, then it will be extremely difficult. So make sure that your guitar is set up properly for this. Otherwise, Tommy sometimes always likes to play just this. Just hammering on to the 9th fret without a slide up and down. It's a lot easier. So leaving out that slide up and down. The exact same thing, just leaving out that slide up and down. This is something that Tommy sometimes likes to play as a variation in the chorus. So it's not something I just made up. He sometimes uses this as well. Let me play those first few bars back to back, and then from here on, the chorus is mostly repetition. That was what we played up until now. The same intro lick. Main difference here is the second bass note is already an open string, because Tommy slides up a little bar from the 8th fret to the 9th fret while keeping down the other chord tones. Open bass string to another open bass string. The exact same thing, ending up on a full A chord. So the second time around, the main difference is that little slide going from the 8th fret to the 9th fret, and that is all. So that one slide, that is where the difference is, and the rest is mostly the same. You're ending up after that part on an A chord, open A string, ring finger, 7th fret D string, middle finger, 6th fret on the G string, open B string, and the index finger on the 5th fret on the high E string. That index finger will disappear right away. Remove the index finger for an open E string. That's the full bar. And then Tommy adds in the thumb over the side of the neck, moving to this, which is again an A chord, 5th fret, thumb over the side of the neck, low E string, 7th fret, 7th fret with ring finger and pinky, middle finger, 6th fret on the G string, and then 2 open strings. You could just as well play this with the index finger. There is no need or no special need or no special reason for this thumb over the side of the neck, except for it being just the natural way for Tommy to play things. So instead of this, feel free to play this. Now we're going to play a quite fast arpeggio, but in a way that Tommy also does in, I think, Stay Close to Me. It's the same section. He uses the thumb to play an arpeggio going down, using a single thumb stroke to play 5 different strings. The important thing is not to make 5 different movements with your thumb, so not pluck, 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 not plucking each string separately, but just leaning across the strings, just pushing through one string to get to the other. It's one movement. But you should pay attention that the tempo, the timing is even. Each note should be as long as the next or the previous one. And then from there on, it's straight into the intro lick for the next verse. Let's have a quick look at how that works. You're basically leaving that whole chord out as soon as you start that intro lick. My middle finger is waiting on the top string to the pinky, and then the rest of the fingering is sort of the same thing as you did the first time. You could just as well be waiting on that top string with the index finger. I find it the most natural thing to do is to use the middle finger. To the first chord of the next verse. That was the whole chorus. Let me play the chorus for you one time, really slowly, all the way through, and you almost have this entire song down. There's just one tiny little bridge section that we have to take a look at, and even that is a lot of repetition. Here we go, the chorus. Straight into the next verse. As you can see, a full repeat, no changes. Second chorus, same thing. Last thing is the only difference. And a full chord to round it out with, to an open E string, because we're heading into the bridge. One more time, that last section. And then we're heading into the bridge. Let me play the bridge for you one time. You're almost done. Everything you need to know is in your grasp now. Last part should sound familiar. It's the exact same thing you play at the end of the verse, but the first 6 bars are something different. You're starting with index finger, 1st fret on the low E string, ring finger, 3rd fret on the A string, an open D string, and then 2nd fret on the G string. I've notated sort of what Tommy plays on his recent YouTube version, but at the same time, I'm really sure that this is again him playing around with the timing and the tempo of that first bar. But this is what it sounds like if you play it note for note. In some other versions, he just plays, leaving out that last D open bass note. To the next chord one more time, really slowly, what is written down. Moving to an A chord with a low E in the bass, and you will be adding in a C sharp 4th fret on the A string as well. So open E string, 4th fret, ring finger on the A string, and then a bar across the 2nd fret. Hammering on with the pinky might be a stretch for some people, from the 2nd fret on the B string to the 5th fret, and then leaving out everything right away for an open B string, heading back for that first F chord. 2, as you can see, the same A chord. Again, just holding down this whole chord shape, adding no extra fingers, basically arpeggiating this chord plus all the open strings. To the same A over E chord, exact same chord shape. Then a little hammer on and pull off lick, holding down this chord shape all the way through, so no messing with the bar as well as with the ring finger on the 4th fret on the A string. And that might be tricky, so hammering on with the pinky from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret on the G string, then moving to the B string, 2nd fret, hammering on with the middle finger to the 3rd fret, pulling back off, back to the pinky on the G string and pulling back off as well. And back to the same F chord we already played 2 times before. Really slowly, those 4 bars back to back. Back to the same F chord, and then you're playing that same fill you played in the verse, but this time with an F sharp in the bass. Don't miss this. This is really easy to overlook. So instead of playing that A chord, we're playing this over an F sharp. Fingerings are the exact same thing as in the verse, but Tommy seems to really consciously keep the timing even this time. So all just straight 8th notes. And then everything is exactly the same, although Tommy likes to slow down a lot more in this section after the bridge than what he usually does when ending the verse going into the chorus. So you might take opportunity to do that as well. Really pull back on the timing in that last section. So and then ready to move into the next chorus. So really pulling back on the timing in that last section. That was all you need to know to play the song in full. I'm going to show you just a few extra fills in the next bit of the chorus. First, I'm going to play through the bridge one more time, really slowly, and then we'll be finishing the song quite quickly. Here we go. Off to the last chorus. Now in his live version on YouTube, Tommy plays a fill that pops up nowhere else in the song, so I decided to include it. So he plays and then a chromatic pull-off, so coming from the 12th fret, pull off to the 11th fret, to the 10th fret, sliding down to the 9th fret, and then a pull-off to an open string, which he leaves ringing out as he enters the next chorus. Is the only difference in this chorus is we're making a bridge into the next chorus. So instead of going for that open A chord, we're moving back to that sixth on the ninth fret. So the second time around, Tommy doesn't use that up and down fill here, just hammering on to that ninth fret, no slide up and down. And then a monster of a lick, but it's more of an effect than really something sweeping. Tommy now sweeps the thumb down, spanning an entire A chord. So 12th fret on the low A string with the pinky, ring finger 11th fret on the D string, index finger 9th fret on the G string, middle finger 10th fret on the B string, and then back to the index finger on the 9th fret, ready to going up. This is sort of the effect he's going for. Don't take it too closely. Mute with the palm of the picking hand and strum down that thumb rather aggressively, as we did with that A arpeggio. Push it through all the strings, and the one thing to watch out for is that final melody note should ring open. This is a really tricky trick, to use a stupid explanation, but it really is that. It's no special part, or it carries no significant value within the melody of the song. It's really a trick. So if you struggle to get this right, I can do some metal sweep picking as well, so this feels kind of natural, but I can imagine that if you're a pure finger style player, that this could feel alien. In that case, just use the same fill again. Okay, so starting from and then one last chorus. Same thing as we played when we transferred to the bridge. Now we are not transferring to the bridge, but we're heading towards the ending, which is the exact same thing as the intro. Back to that slide. Exactly the same thing as we did in the intro. We're only repeating those last bars an extra time. And Tommy does end the song on an A chord, but he includes the low E string as well. One more time, that ending section. Moving to the low E string, back to the A string, back to the E string, and to the ending chord. There you go, in full. Questions? A beautiful song. I hope you have fun with this tutorial. It's not Tommy's hardest song, but as always with Tommy songs, there are quite a few challenges. Have fun with this one and see you next time for another Tommy Emmanuel song. Bye bye.